is no need to um, establish the presence of a quorum, and we can proceed as necessary. Now, may I call on Attorney Dana Alberto, our Legislative Committee Secretary, to acknowledge the presence of our various resource persons. Yes, Attorney Alberto, please.
Good afternoon. The Committee on Foreign Relations would like to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished guests, namely, from Department of Foreign Affairs, we have Acting Director Charles Ching and Principal Assistant Diane Bartolome, and virtually present is Attorney Robel Garcia. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, we have Attorney Laika Tolentino, OIC Section Chief Consorcio C. Olivan, and Attorney Giselle Maribi Galvez. From Board of Investments, we have Attorney Ryan P. Perez. From Department of Finance, we have Director Emmy I. Macabales. From Department of Justice, we have Chief State Counsel Dennis Arvin Elchan and State Counsel Maria Lorraine D. Suwan. And from Filipino Association in Brunei, virtually present is Mr. Clifford Baluarte. That would be all, ma'am.
Yes, thank you very much. And last February 27, the agreement between the government of the Philippines and the government of His Majesty Sultan Brunei Darussalam for the avoidance of double taxation and the prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to taxes on income was referred to the committee, hence the public hearing today. May I request the resource persons to use our time wisely and to comment on matters only that pertain to the topic at hand. Let us observe proper decorum at all times, including refraining from making any derogatory remarks against resource persons. An agreement was entered into, as stated earlier, and the committee notes herewith that similar treaties have been entered into by the Philippines with a minimum of at least 48 countries, last count. Oftentimes, taxpayers involved in cross-border transactions are subjected to tax on the same income by different taxing authorities. And as a result, not only are taxpayers unduly burdened by executive taxes, the effects of government investment incentives are also blunted. To remedy this situation, there should be improved transparency and cooperation between tax authorities and states. The ratification of avoidance of taxation agreements are concurred by the Senate because they promote international trade and investment, primarily allocating taxing jurisdiction between the contracting states to eliminate or mitigate double taxation on income and also enforce domestic laws to reduce tax evasion. Let us hear from the resource persons to aid this committee better understand the pros and cons of the agreement subject of this public hearing. And with that, I'd like to call on straight away our resource persons, firstly from the DOF and the BIR, if they would like to make opening statements and explain what we have at hand. Is there anyone who would like to represent the DOF? I think Secretary Jokno has already submitted a position
ma'am.
paper. You can perhaps, Director Macabales, provide us and put on record the salient points in summary.
Good morning, good afternoon, Madam Chair. Also, on the part of the Department of Finance, we have already expressed our concurrence to the signing of the DTA with the state of Brunei, and mainly because the DTA will allow for the affirmation of our commitments with the ASEAN country, especially on the forum of taxation. So this will also complement our existing agreements with other ASEAN countries. To date, there are 5, and so we hope to add the DTA with Brunei to that.
Yes, the chair recognizes the presence of Sherwin Gatchalian, our senator, and the chairman of Ways and Means. This being a treaty with regard to double taxation, I'm certain that your expertise will be very valuable. So you were saying, as I said earlier, that this will merely strengthen the already clear-cut guidelines for ASEAN countries and the ability to avoid double taxation and even mitigate tax evasion. So that's the position of the DOF. Are there any amendments that are requested or any clarifications?
To date, ma'am, there are no additional clarification or amendments proposed by the Department of Finance. The agreement itself was originally negotiated as early as 2001 and revisited in 2010. As of 2017, the Bureau of Internal Revenue has expressed their agreements to the last provisions that was still unclear at the time. And that clarification done through the exchange of notes between the state of Brunei and the Philippines has already been confirmed.
Yes, thank you. I just needed a clarification on that. And um, does the BIR wish to add to the presentation or the statement of the Department of Finance? Is there anything you'd like to add?
We concur with their representation, ma'am. So we do not have anything to add anymore. We do not have anything more to add because we agree with the statements of the DOF.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Senator Win, if at any time you would like to add anything, please simply let us know. So, okay, this is between the Sultanate of Brunei and the Philippines. And perhaps there are just a few questions we'd like to pose to our various authorities here from the DFA, the DOJ, and even the BOI. Unang-una, meron tayong nabanggit sa statements ng DOF from the time of Secretary Dominguez hanggang sa position paper submitted by Secretary Jokno that the DTA is expected to create more jobs in the atmosphere of transferring technology and skills between the two countries. So, do we have data on the total number of Filipino workers who will benefit from this tax treaty? Ilan ba talagang Pilipino nasa Brunei? Ilan naman yung Brunei citizens na narito sa Pilipinas kung sakali? May idea po kayo? Baka yung DFA makatulong. Ilan ang Pilipino sa Brunei?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Ma'am, per our latest info po, we have 20,100 Filipinos in OFWs in Brunei. The gender-wise is almost split 50-50. Around 10,400 males and 9,700 females. But we don't have the data po on the Brunei citizens in Philippines.
Okay, I doubt that there could be very many, being that there are very few Brunei citizens, even in Brunei. Pero itatanong ko lang sana, may idea kayo yung mga Pilipino sa Brunei, ano ang trabaho?
Ma'am, the data I gave po for the classification po, they were classified as mostly professionals.
Professional.
Yes,
Pati yung mga kababaihan, kasi dati maraming DH din.
Ma'am, as per latest data po, domestic helpers account for 1,700.
Ah, that's great. So our breakdown has actually changed for the better and been professionalized. Maganda naman balita yon. So, yung transfer of technology na nabanggit and skills, what are we pertaining to kaya? Dun sa technology and skills. I remember ages ago when the palace was being built in Brunei by Filipino contractors, Filipino architects and engineers, the transfer of technology was from the Philippines to Brunei. Are you saying that petrol technology will be obtained by the Philippines as a result of this treaty?
Madam Chair, admittedly po, I actually just assumed the office 12 hours ago. So I have to go to the details of that. But as per now po, data shows that the slant is towards Brunei. We import, thanks to the oil products that we import from them po.
Oh, lumalaki ang ating negative trade balance sa kanila, di ba? Pabaliktad. Dung dati, sila ang bumibili sa atin, pero ngayon sa pangangailangan natin sa langis at sa iba't iba pang mga produkto ng langis, talagang lumulobo na yung binibili natin sa kanila, no? Okay. Anyway, I'm curious as to the kind of technology and skills, the other benefits that we could derive from the DTA. Any idea? The statement, after all, was actually derived from the DOF. Baka dapat ang DOF ang sumagot, ano? Sila kasi nag-announce eh.
Ma'am, on the specifics of the trade, on the specific of the technology and skill transfer, I think this would relate more on investments made by, for example, Brunei companies here in the Philippines, made by presumably companies based in Brunei who would invest in the Philippines. But as the data specific to the statement was on the inbound transfer of technology and skills to the Philippines. So presumably this would refer to is
Sorry, I'm really having trouble hearing you.
ma'am. The statement made, I think, by the Department of Finance is in relation to the inbound transfer of technology and skills. So presumably this would refer to Brunei companies who would invest in the Philippines and the potential of the technology transferred by such companies here in the Philippines. But I would also defer to the Board of yes, ma'am, on the specifics on this matter.
Maybe the BOI, Attorney Perez, can help us on this score.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Ma'am, in regards to investment, from the time the double tax treaty became effective between Philippines and Brunei, we have not realized any investment. As with the BUI, there's no investment yet.
O
But-
parang wala pa akong naririnig na Brunei
Wala pa
company
po.
na narito sa Pilipinas.
However, considering other IPAs, investment promotion agencies, there's a minimal investment if I can provide the data. It's on professional, scientific, and technical activities. On the particulars po, I don't have the information. If you want a more
Yes.
granular information, I can request from the other
Okay,
IPAs.
because when this goes on the floor, we'll have to be very clear cut on what advantages this brings. So to our knowledge, there's no Brunei company as yet operating in the Philippines.
As far as BOI is concerned, we don't have any
Wala pa kayong
investment.
listing, but you said, as you mentioned earlier, you'll provide us with a list of a few professional and scientific efforts that have ensued in the past.
Based on the information that we have gathered from other IPAs, we can request the information, ma'am. If what particular investment and to which IPA
Awesome.